Right. So I think everybody can see me. I'm just checking all my streams over here. Instagram is good. S- mm, Okay, I had an echo going on with Twitter. All right, so welcome to Finance Friday Live. I am starting a little early because I just wanted to make sure everything was in motion, everything is doing what it's supposed to do on my side. Um, while we're waiting, I'll let you all in. I diffuse every single day. I love my little diffuser thing. And today we have detox going. It's the same one I had going yesterday when I was doing my little test. But I just feel like a detox is what's needed, just to feel cleansed and feel fresh. So that's what I have going in my diffuser. Now, let me see. All right, cool. So we have a lot to talk about today. We have a lot to talk about. There has been a lot going on this week in the world of finance. And if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at all of the streams, making sure I can see people's comments and all that good stuff. But there has been a lot going on, y'all. So I just want to recap everything that has been going on and just let you all know what this means for you. So bear with me just a few more moments. Let me see. Okay, we're on Facebook now. I have forgot to hit the button on Facebook, y'all. Good on there. All right. So we're just gonna wait one more minute. But while we're waiting, definitely jump in the chat. Tell me where you're from, where you're tuning in from, how you doing today. I would love to hear it. All right, it's 12 o'clock. So let's get started. So, like I said, this is Finance Fridays Live. This is something new that I'm doing because I feel like so much happens, and I want to let you all in on what has happened in the financial world for the week. And not only that, but what that means for you. Because a lot of times we look at, these articles and things, and we're reading, we're like, I have no idea what they're talking about. So, my goal when it comes to financial articles is just to break it down so that way you know what's going on with your money, and how all of these things are influencing it. So, let's hop right in. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the news that was out Wednesday about the Federal Reserve looking to increase their interest rates. They approved their first interest rate hike in more than 3 years. So the last time they did this was December, I believe, of 2018. And they also announced that they see six more ahead. Now, you might be saying, why are they raising our interest rates? Doesn't that mean, like, what is this? Why are we doing this? Right. I will say this is actually good for the economy because what happens is the Federal Reserve, they have a few tools at their disposal to keep the economy kind of balanced. If it gets too hot, it's trouble. If it gets too slow, it's trouble. And so they have a few things that they can do to kind of keep it in equilibrium. One of those things is printing more money or taking money out of circulation. And then the other one is, affecting the interest rates. So raising interest rates, lowering interest rates. Now, when they're talking about interest rates, they're not talking about your personal interest rates, not the consumer interest rates. They're talking about the federal funds rate. So, what is the federal funds rate? The federal funds rate is what the banks use to loan money to each other. So, when they say that they're going up 0.25 percentage points, they're not saying, oh, we're going to add 0.25 percentage points to everybody's interest rates across the board. They're saying in order for banks to loan each other money, which is what they do on the back end, that rate is going to be 0.25 percentage rates points more. Now, that does not directly translate to what you're going to experience. It all depends on what your bank, what your institution wants to do, but that is how it kind of affects our money. So, what does this mean for you? Well, as you all have been seeing here lately, inflation is ridiculous. I mean, every time I go to the grocery store at this point, it is at least $100 or better, which is crazy. But them raising the interest rates actually helps this issue because as they raise interest rates, things will be harder to buy, so to speak. And then once that happens, the demand will decrease. Sorry, Instagram's going to sleep. The demand will decrease. And then once the demand decreases, then the prices will start lowering and then it'll start equaling out. So that's just how, in a nutshell, all of this works. And that's why it's a good thing. Um, let's just take, just so I can drive this point home, and please comment, let me know if you're getting lost, if this is not making sense to you still. But I'm going to take the housing market into consideration, right? So let's look at just housing. So with houses, it's super expensive to buy a house now. At the beginning of the year, I thought about selling my house. I looked, it's worth what, 100,000 or so more than what I paid for it. And I was like, oh, like this is great. I can make a lot of money, just selling my house. But then I had to realize, if I sell my house, where am I going to go? So, with the inflation that's going on and the higher prices, it's making it, and it's still the same demand, but I mean, it's higher demand, but a little less supply or the same amount of supply. So, what that does is that drives prices up. So with interest rates being more now, or starting to become more, less people are going to want to buy houses because it's not as cheap to buy a house anymore. It's not as cheap to get funding and things like that, and so less people are going to be doing it. So then what happens is once people, the demand starts going down, then the prices will start coming down to meet the demand that it is at that point. So hopefully that makes sense. Personally, I feel like this is a great move by the Federal Reserve because we have been overheated for a long time. And part of that was because of all the money that they infused, when it comes to the stimulus checks and the EDLs and the PPPs and all of that stuff. If they're just giving money, 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 then of course people are going to spend more, which increases demand and makes prices raise. And that's kind of how we got into this whole inflation thing to begin with, part of the reason. So them increasing interest rates is good. And I don't know why Instagram keeps sleeping on me. Hopefully I don't lose y'all. But that's actually a good thing because now we can kind of curb this inflation. And they were actually saying that it may need to go up to 3%. We've been at like zero for the Fed funds rate for a while. So they are thinking getting it up to like 3% is how it's going to be better for the economy to kind of curb this inflation. So hopefully that made sense to you all. And if not, please let me know in the chat and maybe we can go over it another time. But that's pretty much in a nutshell who the Federal Reserve is, what the Fed funds rate is, and what that means for your money. So if we're thinking strategically about our money now, so go ahead and get your pen and paper ready. If we're thinking strategically, with them increasing interest rates, that means we should be paying off our variable interest rate debt ASAP. Okay? Because what's going to happen is the variable interest rate debt, the companies are going to start increasing that interest rate. So usually that would be like credit cards. That's one of the main ones. You definitely, yeah, see, it's going to keep going to sleep. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Um, Credit cards, right? So, credit cards are the main variable interest rate things that people have. Definitely want to prioritize paying those off because you're going to be paying more interest rate soon. I mean, more interest soon. So you definitely don't want to do that. So please, please, please make that a priority. Instagram, I'm gonna move you down here so I don't have to keep reaching over everybody else. There we go. All right. So I have Instagram here. All right. So you definitely want to go ahead and start paying that stuff off because that's what's going to increase. When you're looking at your house, um, your car, your student loans, typically that stuff is fixed interest rates. So it's not as important. Now, if you have variable in any of those, definitely prioritize that. But typically, All of those things are fixed. So they're not going to move, luckily. Credit cards are going to start moving. So you want to prioritize that. Now, the positive side of them raising rates too is that that also means that your savings rates will increase. So I don't know if you all have been seeing, but savings accounts are paying barely nothing. That's why it's almost no point in even putting anything in there, unless you're emergency fund. But as the interest rates increase, those rates will be increasing as well. So if you don't get anything else from this, is to pay down your variable interest rate, aka credit cards and whatever else is variable. And then you should start being able to save more and actually getting some money back from that. So just keep a lookout on those two things. And if you don't do anything else, at least see what your interest rates are. So I encourage everyone listening to this right now, go ahead and pull up your credit card statements or the website or the app and see what your interest rates are, and then check back maybe in about 6 months or so and see if they raised them, because they're not going to tell you, because when you sign up, you say you sign off on them changing them however they want to. And they say actually in the documentation that is based on the Fed funds rate. So all of this information is made known to you. So they don't have to tell you that they're going to increase it. Some companies do just at a courtesy, but they don't have to because you already signed your life away. No, I'm just kidding. But definitely keep an eye on that and pay off your credit cards. So that's all I'm going to say about the Fed funds rate. That is happening. There's nothing we can do about it. All you can do is start thinking more strategically about your money. Think about how you want things to go. Think about, paying off that debt, saving, maybe saving more, what have you. But that's pretty much all you can do at this point. So now let's get to the next thing that happened this week. I just saw this article this morning, but I was like, I'm going to mention this. Amazon. Now, before I get into, all these companies that sell stocks and stuff, let me do my disclaimer that this is only for educational and informational purposes only. This is not investment advice. This is just to educate you about what's going on. So, Amazon just completed a 8.5 billion with a B, dollar acquisition of MGM. Now, if you're not familiar with who MGM is, that's Metro Goldwyn Mayer. If you've ever seen a movie and you saw the lion, that thing in in the little circle, that's MGM. So Amazon just bought them out. So what does that mean? That means if you have Prime and you have Prime Video, you can now, well, soon, you'll be able to see shows like, or movies like James Bond movies, Rocky, RoboCop, Silence of the Lambs. Like, they have a huge catalog. And then also, what happens is their competitors aren't going to be able to have those movies and stuff. And so they pretty much just have a whole, you know, uh, what is it called? When they own all of it, so you can't, nobody else can have them. That's what's happening right now. So Prime is actually setting themselves up to be a competitor, like with Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max and all of them, because now their catalog has just expanded by, let me see, 4,000 films and 17,000 TV shows. That's a lot. And it's a lot of good ones. So now Amazon is, making their way to become, a Netflix. In my opinion, I feel like Netflix had the most catalog, most interesting things. Prime, I would go there when I was done with Netflix. But now Prime might be the go-to. So we'll see how this shakes out. I can tell you now, because I've been tracking their stock price this morning, people are now reading about this news, and so they're already up almost 1% for the day, and the market just opened like 3 hours ago. So they're definitely doing really good, and apparently everybody likes this news. All their investors like this news, and so that's why their stock price is rising today. I'm gonna say, if you wasn't in already, it might be a little too late to like go and just jump, because now you're catching it while it's already high. So that's just FYI investing. But but that's just something to be on the lookout. Amazon is raising their stock today with that news. Then I also wanted to talk about how they announced their stock split because that also happened. I think it was last week. But they announced that they're doing a stock split. Now, stock splits don't really matter. And like, okay, let me rephrase that. If you already own stock in Amazon, then it's not like you're going to be getting extra value from them splitting the stock. It just means that you're going to get more shares of whatever you have because now the prices is going to be lower. It is good because right now Amazon shares one share of Amazon. So one little piece of Amazon, if you wanted to buy it directly, is 3,175, 73.85 right now, this moment, right? So if you wanted one share, so one little piece of Amazon, that's how much you would have to pay. With the stock split, they're doing a 20 for 1. So pretty much what you would do is divide that by 20 and the new price would be around 150 or so. So that's good news for people wanting to get into Amazon because now they can buy it at 150 or so, don't quote me, versus 3,000 and something. So that's the good news with it. But if you already have Amazon, it's not like you're going to have any more money. It's going to be the same amount of value. You're just going to have more shares, if that makes sense. Please let me know in these chats and all that stuff if you're here, if you're tuned in, because I can see you. Hey, what's up, Debt Free Dad? Thank you for joining me. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to go over today. All of these things that are happening do affect your money one way or another, right? So you want to make sure that you stay in the loop, and I want to help you stay in the loop because I want to explain some of these concepts as they're coming up. So that's why I started Finance Fridays Live. This is the first one. You can catch me every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I am on the East Coast to catch these because I just want you to know what's going on with your money, what's affecting your money right now. I think the main takeaway from this episode is the federal funds rate. It's going up. So prioritize your variable rate, interest rate products. So pretty much your credit cards. Go ahead and prioritize paying those off because it's just going to be more and more expensive to keep holding those balances. Also, start thinking about saving because if the interest rates are going up, then that means the savings interest rates are going to go up too. Now, it's been beneficial to invest any additional money that you have outside of your emergency fund. But as things start, equilibrium starts happening, you might want to look into saving some as well. So that pretty much wraps it up. I like to keep these short and sweet. So I think we're about, 15 minutes in? And that's pretty much all I wanted to go over. So, like I said, if you have any questions, any comments, I'm going to leave these videos up on all their respective platforms. I'm live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So, on any of those platforms, please leave me comments. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if this helped you or confused you, confused you anymore. But my goal is to try to help you all understand these concepts so that way we can start having these conversations and let people know what's going on with their money. All right. Well, I will see y'all. Have a good day. Bye.